A runway in Russia flickers like it's a world away from war.
Then a sound appears, too small for a jet, too close to ignore.
In the lens, it's just a blur, until it becomes the whole night.
The airbase isn't a fortress in that moment, it's a stage.
A line of safety breaks, and distance stops mattering.
In modern war, the first battle is often recognition.
And when the rear is hit, doctrine hears it first. This is Operation Spiderweb. Far away, stops being safe.
The battlefield wasn't a river or a hill. It was the enemy's depth.
2 rooms, 1 clock, and a trap closing from the inside out.
In the first seconds, nobody knows what they're looking at.
The question wasn't defense. It was whether they could defend everywhere.
Spiderweb wasn't one strike, it was a system shock.
But how did this battlefield become?
If you want to understand how war shaped our world, stay with us.
If you want the next forgotten world, subscribe, and we'll uncover it together.
By 2025, the war's rhythm is brutal, and time feels expensive.
Strategic pressure doesn't always arrive on the front line. If you can't stop a bomber in the sky, you hunt it on the ground.
This is a war of systems, routes, routines, and gaps.
The deeper the base, the more routine it begins to feel.
Habits are invisible until someone uses them against you.
The plan can't fail loudly, because failure invites a heavier war.
So the SBU treats distance like a delay they can weaponize.
In this war, the most important move is often the quietest one.
Rear security is built for the threats you expect.
Spiderweb isn't one hit. It's coordinated pressure across a map.
If the enemy must defend everywhere, they can surge nowhere.
Every routine creates a pattern, and every pattern creates a prediction.
The first battlefield is paperwork, timing, and silence.
To make depth a trap, you have to compress time. Even the planners feel pressure, because time is a countdown.
On the Russian side, normalcy is part of the defense.
If the sky is too hard to contest, the ground becomes the target.
A plan like this survives on compartmentalization.
But routines create blind spots, because nothing feels urgent until it is. The operation depends on timing, not firepower.
Spiderweb isn't a slogan, it's geometry.
Depth gives warning, unless the warning starts inside your perimeter. The constraints are suffocating, so the solution has to be asymmetrical.
And the safer the rear feels, the more predictable it becomes.
So the decision is made. Hunt the aircraft where they sleep.
A strategic aircraft on the ground is a strategic problem you can touch.
On the other side, war feels like weather. Always there, rarely here.
Secrecy isn't drama, it's survival.
So the commander makes a move that looks insane until you see the map.
First, they read the terrain. Vast, flat, and complacent. A base is a node, and nodes create predictable routines.
Far from the front, an airfield behaves like a workplace.
In Spiderweb, the terrain is response time.
Institutional delay can be deadlier than distance.
Beat B, they shape the enemy's choices by attacking expectations. Most defenses look outward, because that's where danger is supposed to come from.
The operation compresses warning into seconds. When the threat is unfamiliar, the first reaction is doubt.
And doubt is the doorway the trap needs.
Beat C, they lock the trap by synchronizing geography.
Preparation sounds like Velcro, radios, and controlled breathing. They can't defend everywhere, so they keep moving, hoping motion is enough.
The goal isn't to hit everything, it's to hit what changes everything.
Coordination is fragile, and fear is contagious.
To overwhelm decisions, you strike across the map, not along it.
In the rear, the first warning is often a sound you can't place. When identification fails, response time becomes the casualty.
The system tries to assemble one picture from fragments.
The trap only works inside a narrow timing window.
Disruption spreads faster than destruction!
Once the clock starts, there's no room for improvisation.
Depth becomes delay, and delay becomes a weapon.
Now it's one question. Will they step where you want?
The operation begins long before the strike. On quiet roads, no one notices.
Simultaneity is the lever, because it breaks certainty.
A defense tuned for the horizon can miss what's already near.
The target is not damage. It's a strategic tax on the enemy's future.
Confusion is not collateral, it's the main effect.
When the rear is attacked, even coordination becomes a fight.
Silence is part of the plan, because words can leak.
The rear discovers it has a front line, right under the floodlights.
The only thing left is whether the timing holds under friction.
Now it's just one question. Will the enemy step exactly where you want?
Contact begins with a noise that doesn't belong.
It's too low, too fast, and too close for comfort.
In the first seconds, the defense is blind by disbelief.
A single clang becomes the sound of routine collapsing. Disruption isn't an explosion. It's the loss of a shared picture.
On the other side, the operation reads the clock like a weapon.
A commander doesn't need volume when the plan is geometry.
The system shouts, but the first seconds are already gone.
The base fights fire with muscle memory, but the rhythm is broken.
Conflicting reports turn minutes into fog.
The plan doesn't need perfection. It needs enough damage to force change.
When the map is unclear, humans default to instinct.
Now comes the pivot. The strike doesn't need scale. It needs the right targets.
A strategic aircraft is hard to replace, even if you can repair parts of it.
Simultaneity makes every base feel alone.
The raid becomes a strategic tax the moment defenses must be rearranged.
Command channels choke when every report demands confirmation.
The pivot is psychological. Everyone suddenly understands what can be hit.
A good plan doesn't celebrate, it checks the next risk.
Now the collapse begins. Order turns into reaction.
Systems fail quietly at first, then all at once.
Retreat isn't running. It's the system trying to breathe again.
Depth stretches response, and stretched response creates gaps.
On the Ukrainian side, the victory is measured in forced adaptations.
Even when the strike ends, the anxiety stays in the air.
Collapse is paperwork too. After-action reports written while alarms still echo.
The runway looks the same, but the doctrine is different.
A successful raid doesn't end a war. It rewrites the next chapter.
The immediate instinct is to cover, contain, and restore routine.
After the noise, the real shock is silence.
For the operators, victory feels like exhaustion, not celebration.
The rear becomes a hunting ground for threats that don't look like threats.
In Spiderweb, the weapon is not the drone, it's the decision chain.
A base can repair concrete, but not confidence.
The cost begins with fatigue and the risks that don't make headlines.
Every successful surprise triggers a hunt for blame.
The first strategic impact is simple. The rear must now be defended like a front. That shift forces resources to move away from offense into protection.
Adaptation starts fast. Disperse, hide, harden.
But every tactic teaches the enemy what to fear next time.
A defended rear becomes a nervous rear.
The win is real, but it doesn't feel clean.
Because the war responds, and response is its own escalation.
The seed of the next disaster is adaptation. Harder targets, higher stakes.
And once fear enters the rear, it never fully leaves.
In covert war, victory can create political pressure at home.